Better Call Saul. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Last night's episode, or episode 407 of Better Call Saul, was a bit of a cliffhanger. It was a bit of an episode where they kind of left things uncertain, but the way they built to where they ended up getting, I absolutely loved. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. And let's just get right into this review. So we start off this episode with a time skip. Now, for anybody who frequents Black Guru reviews, you know that the one thing I can't stand is a time skip. I loathe time skips. I do not like time skips because normally time skips are evidence of some sort of lazy writing. Normally time skips are done so lazily to try to hurry up and get to a point where they want to continue telling the story. However, on this episode of Better Call Saul, we started off with a time skip, but it was a time skip done right. It was a time skip done very, very correctly. The thing that makes this time skip so good is that they did it in pictures. So they had, it was a bit of a montage, but they also told a story through the montage. They divided the screen and sort of told the story of the split between Saul and Jimmy and Kim, and they used these storytelling elements within the time skip to explain where they are now without saying a word. It wasn't hokey, it wasn't overdone, it was executed very, very well. I love this time skip. And everybody knows, for those who do know, I'm not a big fan of time skips, but I absolutely love this one. And we see Jimmy out here hustling. She's building her big business. She's making money. Kim, that is making money and getting things popping. What's up, Rochelle? She's getting things popping. And, they're just not as close as they used to be anymore. They're just not as close as they used to be. So we start off the episode, Jimmy's sitting around and he's trying to look at an office, and he's got all these bright ideas about this little cheap ass office that he's found, and he thinks it's so cool, but it really ain't shit. And we got Lavelle Crawford here, basically tells him it ain't shit. Stop getting his hopes up because this office ain't shit. He said, if I was a lawyer, he said, man, I have big high rises on yachts and shit, and you talk about some old dusty ass office. But that sets the context for tonight's episode. Now we see Hector. Now see, this is where the time skip comes in handy, because we see Hector make his recovery to a degree. What's up, GG? He makes his recovery to a degree. So we see Hector as we know him, basically. We see him, tapping when he's to acknowledge yes, not tapping to acknowledge no. And then he knocks over a cup so he can look at this woman's ass. He knocks over a cup so he can get a good look at that ass. He wanted to get a nice, good look at that old ass. And I said, look at old Hector. Yeah, a big old freak. He gonna knock over that cup so we can get a glimpse of that ass. Now we can do some ass math on this. We can do a little ass math. If y'all want to do some ass math, we can. Yeah, Hector is an OG. But he wanted to get a good look at that sweet ass. So, so basically Hector is who we know him to be. And I think this was a great way to show that Hector is who we know him as. He's I don't want to say fully recovered, but he's recovered as to the point where we know him from Breaking Bad. So then we get here to Jimmy having this meeting at the law firm. It's a bit of a mixer. and everybody's just kind of drinking, talking, laughing it up. And you know what? Honestly, I hate shit like this in real life. I just want to make this point. I hate these little fucking meet everybody. I hate being fake. I just don't like being fake. I don't like talking about shit that ain't real. I don't like laughing at shit that ain't funny. I really hate that shit. And I don't really think I'm good at it. I try to be good at it. But I really, I don't know. But I just hate, how you guys doing? Oh, yes, everything's all right. Oh, that's great. How long have you guys worked here? Oh, really? Wow, that's a long time. Must be very stressful. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, that's great. Any kids between you two? Wow. And he plays baseball? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's nice. That's nice. I hate that fucking shit. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I just do. And I don't, this has nothing to do with the review. That's just me. I fucking hate it. But back to the review. Back to the review. So, Jimmy's, shaking hands and meeting friends, as we say. And he steps into Kim's office, and he see Kim's got a bigger office than him, or he doesn't necessarily technically have an office, but he sees how successful Kim has been and how great she's been at what she's doing. And she's doing all of this on the up and up. She's not no hustler. She ain't tricking nobody. She's not using any backhanded tactics. She's just working, doing her best. And you see where she's at. And Jimmy's kind of looking around and he's seeing what's going on. And Jimmy's, he's jealous. It seems like he's being emasculated. And moreover, he's being overshadowed. What's up, Brad? He's being overshadowed by Kim. So he comes out. Now, this motherfucker here, I think he trying to fuck Kim. I really do. They didn't really say nothing like that, but I just kind of felt that. He was trying to fuck Kim. I think he's trying to get with Kim. Did they ever have any reference to Walt in this show yet? No, they haven't. They haven't referenced Walt. So, but there's an important scene on tonight that gave me goosebumps. A couple of goosebump scenes. So you gotta watch this little sneaky motherfucker. He's a little sneaky. Yeah, he's a little sneaky. You gotta watch him. I thought he was feeling like he can't compete with that since he wanted to go into business with her. Yeah, that as well. That as well. It all culminates into him feeling small in comparison to her. I think jealous. I don't think he's necessarily jealous, but it's almost he's being overshadowed by her. And she has all of those lawyer things that he can't provide and things that he can't really achieve. So this is an emotional distance in their relationship. We seen in the opening during the time skip, we seen them physically become more distant from one another. And now we see the emotional distance between the two because of these scenes here. Like I said, Better Call Saul is the best at delivering on this type of level. He thinks he's this but best, but can't catch up with the big guys. Right. So then he does this big song and dance, and this was hard for me to watch because I don't like to see people embarrassing themselves. So I actually had to skip a little bit of this because it was so authentic that I just couldn't watch it. I just couldn't really watch it. So he's, chucking it up and being Jimmy, and people are kind of entertained, more laughing at him than with him, and kind of making a fool of himself. And on the ride home, Kim's fucking pissed off, and Jimmy doesn't give a shit. He really doesn't give a shit. So now we kind of transition the episode. Now this was something you guys may have missed. But yeah, I was like that too, Gigi. I can't watch stuff like that. It's just hard for me to watch. So we transition a bit, and we transition over into Mike's storyline, and the music plays again. We get kind of an opening theme again. Now this was interesting because we're basically restarting the episode. See, music normally starts a Better Call Saul episode, so there's a musical montage where they're playing music when we open up into Mike's scene, kind of acknowledging that the time has passed on this storyline too. We're sort of restarting the episode as we reintroduce Mike and what's going on with him. See, this is the type of television storytelling that a lot of people just simply can't do. It's a lot of people just simply can't do just the little stuff. The little stuff. So we open up with the montage. Now this is what gave me goosebumps. When they walked down those steps and they walked into that laboratory where we know Walter White will cook up that blue meth, him and Jesse. And when we see the foundation of this place, I got goosebumps when I seen this, because it just connects the story to Breaking Bad. Season 4 of Better Call Saul has been the most connective to Breaking Bad so far. Now, I wanted to ask you guys who are familiar with Breaking Bad, is this the same dish that Gus makes when he invites Jesse over to his house? Isn't this the same dish he makes? It looks fucking good. It really looks good. But is this the same dish for Walter? I can't remember. I thought it was Jesse he invited over. I thought it was when he invited Jesse over to the house. Yeah, he invited Jesse over. I don't know, but I can find out real quick. Yeah, because I think that's the same dish. I don't know. It just kind of caught me. Breaking Bad doesn't waste screen real estate. They don't waste shit. So I think they bring this dish back on purpose. They both went, okay. Didn't he invite both? He may have invited both. I just remember Jesse being there for some reason. So he may have invited both. So we get one of tonight's most pivotal scenes when we basically get the follow-up for last week's episode, where Gus goes on this dark confession as how he wants to treat his enemy in Hector Salamanca. And he watches a video of Hector, and she's saying, well, he's recovered, and Gus asks her, is he himself again? Is he who he is? And she's like, well, he's getting there, and he's getting better, and he's becoming more responsive. The writers are brilliant. The connection is so satisfying. It really is, GG. It really, really is. And she's saying he's responsive, he's getting better, but they need some more work. And she shows the video of him knocking over the glass and checking out that sweet ass on that nurse. And Gus looks at this and he's like, He's like, oh yeah, he's back. That's him. His mind is back. His mind is operating as it used to. And then he does something very interesting. He says, you know what? That's enough. We can slow down with the recovery efforts. And the doctor was like, well, no, we're doing really, really good. With some more work, he may be able to even walk and talk again. And Gus is like, no, let's keep him right here. Which ties into what he said on last week, how he likes to trap his enemies, and he understands that there are things worse than death. And he's executing on a reality worse than death for Hector. This is very, very sinister. This is extremely sinister. And this is the Gus I've been waiting for from this series. This is the Gus I've been waiting for. It's the same dish. Okay, I figured it was the same dish. I appreciate that, Brad. It is the same dish. Okay. This is the sinister. See, last season when we got Gus back in season 3 of Better Call Saul, Gus was too happy-go-lucky for me. I didn't like that shit. He's doing speeches and getting everybody riled up and telling everybody they can do their best. I'm like, this is not fucking Gus. I'm like, stop with this shit. This is the Gus I've been waiting for. The the well-mannered, sinister individual. This is the character. Maybe it took him a season to really, get that character back, but boy, did he get it back. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I guess I need to start this show over. The first couple episodes didn't keep my attention. Yeah, this has been the best season of the show. The first 3 seasons were touch and go. This has been the best season. So we get into a situation here that can be summarized simply by the workers who are building the underground laboratory that Walter eventually works at, are they're kind of getting homesick, or they're kind of getting what they call it, cabin fever. They're kind of getting cabin fever about everything. So basically, they just need some. They need some women. They need some women. They need to kick it. They don't need to be playing no pinball and shooting no shots and watching no old movies. They need to party. That's what they need. And they say as much later in the episode. Now, this is one of those small things. We see Jimmy out here selling his phones, kind of hanging out, chilling, doing his thing. And this is one of those small things that I keep telling you guys about that's really, really good. Look at this character introduction. Now we're introducing this police officer who will end up being a major plot point to finish this season, as we see. So this character is just not any old police. He's the beginning of a particular storyline. And look how he's introduced as Jimmy sitting there kind of looking at his hair. Over his shoulder, the cop is walking up. This is just great stuff. And we're looking at the reflection through the window. This is great stuff. I think the cop was on Breaking Bad. I'm not 100% of it. It didn't jog a memory for me. But this is just great stuff. Like, it's not cheesy. The reason why I'm pointing this out, because it's not cheesy. It's creative. Right? This is creativity. It's not lame like we just see the cop car pull up and then he hops out and, hey, what are you doing? It's not fucking lame like that. It's meticulous. It's creative. It's visual storytelling. It's really great stuff, I'm telling you. So we see him. He's giving Jimmy some shit about selling his phones, but Jimmy's like, hey, I'm perfectly legal. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to keep selling. I keep calling him Laval Crawford, whatever his name is. Lavelle Crawford. Huel is his name. I think his character's name is Huel. Well, he sees this and knocks the cop upside his head with some sandwiches, which ends up getting him arrested. Jimmy tries to talk them out of arresting him to no avail. And this is the moment here where I suggested that basically the foreman is telling Mike, hey, these guys need some ass. Basically, that's just basically the crux of this conversation. These guys need some ass. They really do. It's about time they get some ass. They've been here for longer than they expected. We're not even halfway done. They're going to need some ass. So Hall's talking about running. He's not going to take this charge. He's going to run. He's not going to jail for no 2 years. Jimmy's like, give me a chance. I can get you out. Slow down. No jail time. So then he basically goes and he talks to Kim. Now, the Emmys were last night. Didn't Huel end up snitching on Breaking Bad? Did he? I don't remember. I don't think so. This is what I mean. The Emmys were last night. Next year, Kim's got to get a nomination or something. She's got to get something. The acting. The fucking acting, I'm telling you guys. When Jimmy tells her, yeah, I've been selling fake phones, or still not fake phones, but I've been selling phones on the side. She's like, what? Fake phones? He's basically like, well, don't worry about that part. The part is I got to get, my guy off for hitting him. And then he's coming up with this cockamamie scheme that we're going to make it like he's drunk and he'll stumble in, and we're going to make it seem like he's a drunk, and that's how we're going to get the case off. And he's coming with this underhanded cockamamie shit. And Kim, he's explaining all this. We're gonna do it this way. And I looked up. He's got some DUIs, so we can kind of figure this all out. And Kim's like, this nigga here, and I'm pretty sure Kim doesn't say nigga. I suspect, but this whole scene she gave essentially could be summarized by this nigga here. I think they showed him a fake death photo of Jesse. It scared him, so he gave the DA some info. It was something like that, Brad. You may be right. You're jogging my memory with that. I bet she does. Yeah, she's just like, this nigga here. It's the way she just sits back on her couch like, this motherfucker. The nerve. And she's like, whatever. I'll handle it. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. And Jimmy's all like, cool. And he comes out real, with his tail tucked between his legs. He looks real weak. Kim looks very powerful. And, the gap between these two couldn't be any bigger at this point. And she's just looking like, this is ridiculous. Like, what have I got in my MC? What am I doing with this? And you could just see all over her, like, what am I doing with this? So she's, hustling, trying to get the boy off. And she kind of goes into this police brutality, or I should say racial injustice thing she's trying to do. Like, it's what's happening to Huell is not fair, and they've had other crimes. So she's kind of talking about the injustices in the criminal justice system. So she's kind of on some Johnny Cochran shit, from what I was able to gather from this scene. And I think that's where we're going to end up next episode. So she tells Jimmy, hey, chill. He might have to do some jail time, but not as much. Just let me handle it. And Jimmy's all like, you do your thing your way. I'll do my thing my way. So Jimmy just really don't give a fuck right now. He's in full Saul Goodman mode. He doesn't really give a fuck. I don't even think he really gives a fuck about Kim. She should have been like, we going public. Yeah. I think he doesn't give a fuck about Kim, honestly. He hasn't shown... This episode, he showed a multitude of different times in different ways. He really don't give a fuck about Kim. And I think Kim still kind of cares about him to her own detriment. I think that's the current status of their relationship. So she's grabbing all these markers and pens and poster board. So, I think she's trying to set up a protest of some sort, which I would like to see how that turns out. But considering what she told the other attorney and her grabbing all these markers and poster board, it appears as if she's going to try to set up some sort of protest, because she calls Jimmy and she says, stop, whatever you're doing, don't do it. I have a better way. And that's how we end tonight's episode. All in all, I really think this was a really, really great episode again. Did you give the Mayans a chance? Not yet. I haven't watched the Mayans yet. But I think that this was a really, really great episode. I think this series is finally starting to heat up. The water is finally starting to boil in the pot. What year do you think this is? Kimmy brought up a Keurig. There was some scenes earlier that mentioned 2004. There were some documents in the opening montage on Jimmy's side where they were logging in documents, and one of the documents said January 20th, 2004. So I believe this time is essentially 2004-ish. So I think that's around the time all of these things are happening. She was getting the stuff for protest, I think. Yeah, I think so too. I think she's setting up some sort of protest. But like I said, all in all, this was another good episode of Better Call Saul. Like I said, the water's boiling, the pot's heating up, things are getting more interesting. We're getting stronger and stronger connections to Breaking Bad, which is something I really enjoy. I can't wait to see how this all ends. Breaking Bad was like 08. Yeah, I really can't wait to see how all this ends, how this season ends, and really how this show ends. I don't think that this show, the true nature of this show, I don't think it has another 3 seasons in it. I think it's about time to start wrapping it up. We may have one more season, a more action packed, fast paced season as we begin to speed up and go faster and faster and faster with this show. But I'm happy that we finally got the Gus that we've been looking for. We see we got Hector Salamanca in the state that we'll eventually see him in Breaking Bad. We're starting to see the underground laboratory being built. So I'm glad all of these elements are being brought into this season of Better Call Saul, which makes it highly entertaining. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom. Walt gonna make an appearance? I think he is. I think Walt gonna make an appearance like in the final episode. It was the end with Walt and Jesse walking into his office, right? Right. I think Walt gonna make an appearance on the last episode. That's when I would want to see Walt on the very last episode of Better Call Saul. Hey, what's up, Queen? On the very last episode of Better Call Saul, we see Walter. We see Walter walk into either Saul's office, or we basically hand the baton. Oh man, that's got to be good. So we see him towards the end. We see that baton being held. Or what we could do, what I would like to see, is what ends up happening. Because remember, we used to get a lot of flash forwards of where Saul is after the events of Breaking Bad. So he's working at the Cinnabon and he's doing all of that shit. I would like to see that shit play out too. So I would like to see what ultimately happens to him. Which there's a whole nother storyline with that. I guess I just couldn't afford a Keurig. I see that came out in 1988. Yeah, they just started becoming affordable like 5 years ago to where everybody can get one. If you had some money, white folks been had Keurigs for a minute, put it like that. Rich white folks, they've been making coffee different than the rest of us. They've been making coffee different than the rest of us for a while now. For those who do not know, I am the Black Guru. What I offer is sage wisdom, and I appreciate everybody's time.